highest-ranking Democrat in our government threatening a separate and equal branch of government. And if you doubt it's a threat, just remember where he made that statement, on the steps of the Supreme Court. And that threat began the 6-year assault on the court by the Democrats.
What you just watched is exactly why tensions around the Supreme Court are boiling over in America right now. Representative Jim Jordan came in fired up, and honestly, a lot of Americans feel the same frustration he expressed in this hearing. Welcome back to America Wake. I'm Wilson, and today we're reacting to Jim Jordan calling out Democrats over Supreme Court attacks, the Dobbs leak, protests outside justices' homes, and the growing push to pack the court. Whether you agree with Jordan or not, this hearing showed just how divided the country has become over the courts and the Constitution. Before we jump in, hit the like button, subscribe to America Wake, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next political showdown. Let's get into it.
As the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Jordan, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you've released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Chuck Schumer, March 4th, 2020. Highest-ranking Democrat in our government threatening a separate and equal branch of government. And if you doubt it's a threat, just remember where he made that statement, on the steps of the Supreme Court. And that threat began the 6-year assault on the court by the Democrats. Started with that threat. Then you had Senator Markey say the court's illegitimate. Well, how is that? Every justice I know in the court was actually confirmed by the United States Senate. That's how our Constitution works. How could it be illegitimate? But Senator Markey thought it was. Then we went to something that's never happened. The Democrats leaked the Dobbs opinion in 2022. You talk about trying to undermine a separate and equal branch of government, start leaking the opinions. That's what they did, which resulted in protest at justices' homes, which, by the way, the Justice Department at the time, under the Biden administration and Attorney General Garland, refused to enforce the law. 18 U.S.C. 1507 says you can't protest at a judge's home. And they refused to enforce the law, which, of course, led to some crazy guy going to Justice Kavanaugh's house with the design to kill Justice of the Supreme Court. Then, of course, we had all the hearings by the Democrats when they were in charge, attacking Justice Thomas, attacking Justice Alito. We had a hearing where a guy come in and lied about Justice Alito and said he leaked some document, which is, go back and watch the hearing. Definitely a lie by this guy. And why did they do it? Why did they do it? To concoct some basis for packing the court. And now they're saying it again. Time to pack the court. By the way, why do they want 4 justices, 4 new justices on the court? Why not 1? Why not 2? Why not 3? Why not 5? Why do they want 4? Because it's a 6-3 majority for conservatives. A 6-3 majority for people who actually interpret what the Constitution and the law says versus making it up as you go and making some new policy. They want 4 because they want a 7-6 majority. Plain and simple, raw political power. And they've been willing to do almost anything. Threaten the Supreme Court on the steps of the Supreme Court, leak opinions, bring witnesses in who lie about justices. That's why this hearing is important. And frankly, I hope we move the constitutional amendment on the floor. I hope there's a vote. And we'll see if these guys want to keep the court at 9, which it should be. It's been there for, what, 160 years or something? This whole Carville's talking about it. Former Vice President Harris is talking. They're all talking about it. The ranking member's talking about it. We got to pack the court. Why? Why? Because they don't like the decisions that this good court is giving this country. So thank the chairman for this hearing. Thank our witnesses for being here. I look forward to hearing your testimony, and I yield back.
After watching the full exchange, Wilson has to say this. Jim Jordan came prepared and focused. Jordan's main argument was simple. The Supreme Court has been under constant political pressure for years, and he believes Democrats helped create that environment. The hearing opened with Jordan bringing up Chuck Schumer's 2020 comments aimed at Justices Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. Jordan clearly saw those remarks as a direct threat toward the court, especially because they were made outside the Supreme Court itself. Then Jordan moved into the Dobbs leak. Regardless of where people stand on abortion, leaking a Supreme Court draft opinion, was a huge moment in American politics. Jordan argued that the leak was meant to pressure the court before the ruling became official. Jordan also focused heavily on the protests outside justices' homes. Wilson believes Americans absolutely have the right to protest, but showing up outside judges' private homes takes things to another level. Jordan connected that atmosphere to the arrest of the armed man near Brett Kavanaugh's house, and honestly, that situation could have turned tragic. Another big issue was court packing. Jordan argued that Democrats want to expand the Supreme Court simply because they dislike the current conservative majority. His point was that changing the size of the court for political advantage would damage trust in the institution even more. Jordan also defended Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, saying conservatives on the court are constantly targeted whenever rulings do not go the left's way. Now, of course, critics will say Jordan is being partisan, and people are free to disagree with him. But one thing is clear: the fight over the Supreme Court has become one of the biggest political battles in America. Wilson thinks Jordan tapped into something a lot of Americans are already feeling. Institutions cannot only be respected when one side wins. That standard has to apply to everybody. At the end of the day, this hearing was bigger than politics. It was about trust in the courts, trust in the Constitution, and where the country is heading next. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Jim Jordan is right about the Supreme Court being under attack? Or do you think Democrats are justified in pushing back against the current court? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this reaction, subscribe to America Wake, leave a like, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. I'm Wilson, and I'll catch you in the next one.